What's going on, Beers? How we doing? Let's see what stands here. What's going on, Jay? How we doing? Happy Easter. Everything's going well. Can't really complain. Nugget, how we doing? Good morning. Give another minute or so and then we'll get started. I don't have a lot to go over today, but I just want to get this knocked out early before everyone starts coming over. I'm excited though. I spent probably at least 6 hours yesterday going through all of my graded cards to see how many pop ones I actually have. I'm pretty surprised, to be honest with you. Like, I've graded a lot of cards. Obviously, I have a good amount in my collection, but and I'll explain what pop one means for those of you that aren't familiar with the term. But yeah, just as I'm excited to see that. Obviously, the new submission I was able to pick up on Friday, so I'm excited to see how that turned out. Um, but you know what? Let's just get right into it. What's going on, everybody? WakoBako here. So as you can see by the thumbnail, we have a CGC submission to go over. This is submission number 56. If you guys remember this one, this is the Mega Action set. Um, so I have all of those like comic book style Japanese Mega Action cards, all 10 of them. So we'll see how that goes. And then that giant box underneath it is every single Pop One graded card in my collection. Now, yeah, I know 56. It's insane. Um, and I actually have two other submissions at work now, and obviously I have like another 20 still lined up. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. But for those of you that aren't familiar, or you don't collect graded cards, so the term pop is population, right? So like how many of that card are out there at that grade. Um, there's some cards that have been graded thousands and thousands of times, and there's other cards that have only been graded a handful of times. So having pop one means that card at that grade, there's only one of. Now it may not be the highest grade, and sometimes from what I noticed yesterday, it's usually not. I do have some that is a population one, and then I put a sticker that says top pop behind it. So meaning it's the highest grade. Not only is it the highest grade, but it's also, well, I'm sorry. Not only is it the only one, but it's also the highest grade. And we'll get into that a little bit more. Um, but which would you guys rather see me start with? Would you guys rather see all the pop ones first, or do you want to see the brand new submission that just came back? I mean, I'm fine with doing whatever, but I just thought I'd leave it up to you guys. I'll be right back while you guys decide. All right. I know it's still early. Let's do let's do the brand new submission first. So we'll look over submission number 56. Yes, it says employee submission. For those of you that aren't familiar, I do work for CGC. Well, technically, it's Certified Collectibles Group is the like umbrella, and then CGC specifically is where I work. Um, but yeah, submission number 56, absolutely insane. So I initially dropped this off on 2/27. I picked it up on Friday, so um, yeah, it took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but um, yeah, it just happens that way sometimes. Especially with submissions, right? Like obviously, what I would say actual customers come first, and then employees kind of get cycled back. And Pokemon Day, yeah, that was actually funny. Um, yeah, that's kind of neat. I didn't even think about that until you just said it. But all right, we're gonna go through this here again. These are all of the Mega Action cards from the Japanese set, Mega Dream EX. I know there's some Mega Action slowly sprinkling out in the English side. But um, I have a couple sets of these. Not only one for the binder, but I have this set, and then I have another set that I will eventually grade at some point in time. But here we go. There's all 10. I'm going to move it off to the side and keep it this way so I don't spoil it for myself. Um, but yeah, I'm excited again. It's only a 10 card submission. Oh, I got to get the sleeves. Well, I'll deal with the sleeves later. Just because, again, I don't want to take up too much time. All right. Here we go. I'm excited, though. This is a pretty neat idea. I do like the mega action cards. I wish they would do more. I don't think they will, unfortunately. But if they do, obviously, I'll keep collecting those. But here we go. Starting off with the very first one. Grab it out from here. I'm going to do this just so I don't spoil it for myself either way. But let me see how it looks on camera. Yep, there we go. You can't tell, and I can't either. All right, cool. All right, here we go. First card from the Mega Dream EX set. Again, these are all of the Mega Action cards. Here we go. Three, two, one. Oh, nice. Okay, that's a strong start for sure. Starting off with that Mega Charizard X EX. I hate how they name that, to be honest, but that's awesome. That's huge. Let me just grab this little microfiber just to wipe off some of the extra dust and stuff. I do have sleeves that I put these in, but I'll do that after the fact. I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, strong start right off the rip for sure. And the reason why the Charizard is first is because that's the order it goes in for the set. If you guys know, I'm very like systematic with everything, especially having these as like a serialized set in order. So card number, right, 223 of 193. But yeah, absolutely beautiful card. I like all the colors that pop. I like the big text on top. I think these were very, very well done. I'm going to put them up and off to the top. Should be able to line them all across. But yeah, strong start for sure. All right, on to the next. Same thing. Here we go. Card number two. And it's funny because like I only really remember the first and last Pokemon. I mean, I know the Pokemon that are in here, right? I just don't remember the order specifically. But I remember how it starts and I remember how it ends. Let's see what's in between. All right, card number two. Three, two, one. Oh, nice. Okay. Super strong start. The Mega Frostlass EX. Again, Mega Action Rare. Now, there's actually two different variants of this that you can get. And I know a lot of people may not be aware of the other variant. So this is the standard one, right? Like this is the what I would say the normal card, right? There's nothing weird with it. It's just, this is how you get it there. Um, but there was a manufacturing issue when they were printing these because where they create the Japanese Pokemon cards is the same facility where they make the traditional and simplified Chinese cards. So there's actually a variant of this. It's not technically an error from grading companies, even though it is. It's a whole other conversation for another time. Um, but it's called the Chinese texture error. Now, what happened was, as these cards went through the factory, the whatever the template they were using, right, that was supposed to be for this, somehow like they didn't switch off, or maybe they just did a batch of like the simplified or traditional Chinese cards. So on parts of the card, you have the texturing from those Chinese cards on the Japanese version. Some are very hard to see and figure out. Some are really, really obvious. What's going on, Sai? How we doing? Yes, very cool card for sure. Um, but yeah, so you'll see that, and you can actually look it up in CGC's pop report. If you go to Mega Dream EX, you scroll down and you look for the Mega Action cards. Each card has a regular hollow. What's going on, Wabbit? How we doing? And then you'll see it will say Chinese texture issue. What's going on, May? How we doing? That's a great question. I'm working on getting all that set up now because we just recently hit 900, which again I do appreciate. Um, so yeah, I'm getting that together. I've got some stuff lined up, but I also want to get stuff to open up. We're gonna do like a celebration opening and the giveaway at the same time. So just give me a little bit of time for that. I'll keep you guys in the loop. I'll probably have the giveaways together faster than what I want to open. But once I have everything together, I think it's gonna be a very solid opening for sure. It's something that I again I don't know what date. Well, I'll let you guys know. I had a whole bunch of stuff off to the side to open, and then we didn't hit the milestone, so I was just opening all that stuff up. But now that we're finally here, um, but yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah, I want to get some of those first partner packs for sure, especially because Series 2 is coming out now. But anyway, let's get back to this. So card number three, again, we're going over the Mega Action Japanese cards from Mega Dream EX. All right, so card number three in three, two, one. Ooh, nice. Okay. Mint. I'll gladly take that good old gem mint. Yeah. So if you follow the Discord, maybe, um, you'll see I'll post it in there. Um, and yes, I did submit these all myself. Yeah, all these were pulled from me. And then I did the submission. Well, I did it as it like I submitted. I can't grade my own stuff, obviously, but yes, this is all for me. I didn't, yeah. But yeah, May, if you keep up with the Discord, I do all the announcements and stuff up there. There's a tab that literally just says announcements. So yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The card quality and quality control is so much better on the Japanese cards. Plus the texturing is really nice. Yeah, you're welcome. The texturing is so much nicer on these cards. But again, for those of you that are just popping in, there are two different like variants of this, right? And if you look at CGC's database, every single one of these mega actions has the regular standard card. Yeah, they definitely do for sure. But again, there's a lot of people that are skilled experts and they take time, and they're very thorough with the process. Obviously, I can't explain the process, but yeah, I'll tell you from hands-on experience being a grader, we are very thorough. So, all right. Yeah, and that's something I'm super excited about. Also, I don't want to get into the politics behind it, right? Especially because for who I work for, and I don't want to catch any heat from HR. But yeah, anytime there's a company that's negatively in the spotlight, obviously the others kind of stand out. But I think CGC has always had a great product. I love all the new labels and stuff like that. The process is tried and true. The turnaround time is some of the best out there. The pricing some of the best. That's just my own little spiel, right? Obviously, it's just my own opinions, but that's why I've graded so much through CGC. And again, this is my 56th submission. I wouldn't keep doing it if I didn't trust it. You know what I mean? All right. I can explain that in a little bit. Um, no, I don't. No, I wish. Even when I had the eBay shop up and stuff like that, no, I never had a distributor. It's just all self-funded stuff. All right, on to the next card number 4. Let's take a look and see what we got in 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. Okay. So the gem mints continue. We're on a streak with the 10s for sure. The Mega Gardevoir EX. Absolutely beautiful card here. And the other way you can tell, right, if there is that texture error, see where it says here Mega Action or yeah, Mega Action Rare Hollow. If you look at the label, that's where it will say Chinese texture issue or Chinese texture error. Um, yeah, potentially. So, and that's the other thing I like about this. Like, I don't look at any of this stuff ahead of time, right? Because I want this to be authentic and I want to be surprised. Um, but after the stream, I'll go and look on the website, right? Because they do all high res images of every single graded card, front and back. Um, But yeah, just looking at that, yeah, that's probably what pushed it off. But again, I'm not going to complain about a gem. I mean, it'd be awesome to have all pristines, clearly. But again, this is all for personal collection stuff. I don't have the storefront running anymore. So it's not like I really have to worry about getting the highest, craziest grades. And for those of you that have been around for a while, especially a lot of the regulars, you guys know I grade stuff from the personal collection. So even if it doesn't hit the highest grade, it's something I'm not really um, overly concerned about. So there's a couple different tiers. May if you check out the website, there's a drop down that talks about grading and turnaround times and all the tiers. And then you can have memberships and stuff like that that discount some of the tiers as well. But yeah. All right, card number 5, halfway through this, but again, don't worry, we still have all of the other pop ones to go through. And again, I was shocked with how many that I have. Yes, and that's the big thing too, right? There's no upcharge fees. Now, the only way, and it's technically not an upcharge fee, but the only way you would get charged after the submission. So, like, let's say you did a bulk submission, right? It's 25 card minimum, whatever the price is. There's a value threshold on that. So, like, you can only do, let's say, like up to $1,000 of a card value, right? So if you sneak in like a first edition Shadowless Charizard, obviously they're gonna be like, hey, this doesn't qualify for this tier. They'll reach out to the customer and be like, hey, do you want to move this up to the next tier or do we want to send it back? Obviously, we're gonna move it up to the next tier. Um, but it's one of those things where we've seen that even as myself, right? Like as a submission hits my desk, um, and you just see stuff where it's like, yeah, this isn't in the right tier. So that's the only way you would technically have an upcharge, but it should be obvious. It's not like PSA where you submit stuff and you pay whatever fee for whatever tier, and then they're like, oh, hey, since this card is crazy valuable now, we want money off of that. I hope I explained that well. All right, card number 5. Let's get back into this again. I don't want to get too much into like the politics behind it, especially because I do work for one of the major grading companies, and I don't want someone to come back at me for having an opinion. So, all right, card number 5. 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. Okay, that's awesome. Very, very nice. So third pristine, and we get it on the Mega Diancie. Um, Yeah, and again, there's so many other different departments too. I mean, like CGC doesn't just do cards, right? Not only trading cards and sports cards and then non-sports. But you have stuff from like paper money and coins, comics, video games, VHS. There's so many different things that CGC covers down on nowadays. They do posters, postcards, and even with coins, right? It's like actual currency, and then you have like metal and plastic coins. So like there's so many people that, maybe trading cards isn't their thing, but maybe they're passionate about something else. Like if you can authenticate and collect, or if it's something you can authenticate and collect, um, yeah. Yeah, so I work at the facility. No, that would be cool if I could work from home, but no, I work at the facility. Um, yeah, there's a couple different satellite locations across like the campus, if you will. But yeah, I work at the office. Yep. Yeah, I'm in the Navy Reserves as well. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Which is good because like a lot of the stuff I do for that is on the weekend, so majority of the time it doesn't interrupt or interfere with work, unless I'm going on like some kind of orders or doing those longer events. Um, but yeah, that would be awesome if they offered a program where they would just send stuff to the house and like I had everything I needed here. I would take them up on that all day long. Like work from home, grading cards and just looking at shiny cardboard all day. I mean, and again, I can't complain, right? Like, yes, it's a little bit of drive back and forth to work every day, but it's something I'm passionate about. And like a lot of people are like, they go to jobs that maybe they pay well, but they don't enjoy it, or they enjoy it, but it doesn't pay well. I have a little bit of best of both worlds. So like again, there's no complaints from me. Um, it's a stress free environment. Everyone that I work with is super awesome, and they're passionate about this hobby as well. So it's a really good environment. Um, it's the second job or the second career I wanted to get in. Um, yeah, I mean, like obviously I went to college to be a game designer, and luckily I was able to publish at least one game. But getting into that field is extremely difficult. Um, so it's one of those things where like this was the second thing I was very very passionate about. So if I couldn't do video games and being in that industry, this is where I want to be. Um, it's a game called Lilith, Lilith. It's on Steam. Again, it was a six-man project, so it's not anything like AAA or anything like that. It's a very small indie game. But I can at least say that I've, developed and published a game. All right, card number 6, halfway through the submission. This submission's on fire so far. Like, hopefully it continues. But here we go. Card number 6, 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. Okay. Yep. Absolutely insane. And it continues. So Mega Lucario in the pristine 10. And again, this actually fits really well, right? You get a little bit of like the gold in the background, the label fits it. And then even on the back, yeah, absolutely insane. Now, I'm curious if anyone's graded the English variants of these cards and how their luck has been. Um, that and again, that's why I prefer grading Japanese and even the Chinese variants of cards, just because the card quality is so much better. The quality control is so much better. They're actually, it's not just like a turn and burn. Like, yes, it's obviously a giant production and they mass produce a lot of stuff, but you can tell, I mean, just from this, right? Like, this is an example of card quality and like quality control at the facilities. I would love to take a tour at the facility, just kind of see how the whole operation runs because there's so much stuff that I just don't know, right? Even being a grader, um, you know, it's not like we get to go to the facility and be like, oh, this is how everything works and this is how this happens. Like, we have had some people that went, but it's a very rare thing. All right, card number 7. All right. It's kind of crazy. This is it's a really good submission so far. Hopefully it continues. But I'm again, just as I'm excited about this, I'm super excited for you guys to see the next part of this stream. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Especially just it's a little bit of a very small slice of my personal collection. Um, but it was so much fun. And again, spent probably 6 or more hours doing all this stuff yesterday to prep for this stream. Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Um, and some of it, it's like a huge difference. But all right, here we go. Card number 7, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, it continues. Let's go. Another pristine. Damn, that looks absolutely insane. Mega Halucha. Again, this is all from the Japanese Mega Dream EX set. Um, I really hope they do more of these mega action cards, especially with this whole um, mega generation sticking around a lot longer than I hoped. Um, so I would assume now, especially with the next Pokemon game, Gen 10, not coming out till probably this time next year. Um, yeah, we're looking at least another year of this sub generation. So hopefully we see more of these mega actions, especially on the Japanese side. I want to try and get as many as I can. All right. Card number 8. Here we go. I'm very excited but nervous too, right? Like, can we keep the streak alive? But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. That's a big one right there. Mega Gengar. Yeah, that's sick. And again, big gold text right across it. Yeah, Hilaria, we're doing really well so far. Thanks for coming by, man. Um, Mega Gengar EX. And that looks so good, especially with the giant gold text coming across the front, the gold text up top. Yeah, that looks absolutely beautiful for sure. Wow. Um, yeah, so if this is an example or even like a slight advertisement on not only Japanese Pokemon cards, because a lot of people sleep on the Japanese side of the house for whatever reason. Um, Even for people that aren't like the biggest fans into grading, right? Maybe this is something for you now, or maybe this is a good example. Um, But again, this all comes to like care and quality on your end, right? There's only so many things you have control over. But once you pull a card out of a pack, making sure it's in the proper sleeves and storing it properly, that's a big thing too. Um, and then prepping it for grading and that whole process. So, obviously, you guys can tell I take very good care of all the stuff that I have, whether it's cards and binders or graded cards or stuff I've prepped for submissions. I have hundreds of cards prepped in line to be graded, but they're all safe and secured and they're stored until that time comes. All right, card number 9. All right, getting down to the last bit of these, um, but this has been an amazing submission so far. Let's see how we're going to wrap this up. We have this and one more. All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, all right. Well, there goes the streak. Man, got an 8 on this one. So usually once you get out of like the tens, once you get into like the 9 5s, nines, 8 5s, eights, um, it's a lot of centering, right? It's a lot of like surface issues, like with whitening or maybe scratches. Um, I can't really tell as of right now, right? Especially with just the lighting and how I have this set up right now. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at this because again, I thought this was super clean. For this to get an 8, um, yeah, there's got to be some issues that I just don't see. Um, and that would be like major scratches, dings, dents, really, really bad centering, which this one, I mean, the centering's great. I wouldn't say it's off by any means. But again, that's also why like they have the high res scans, right? So I can look at these images and really, really zoom in. They're all like 4K or possibly like 8K images. Um, but yeah, for that to get an 8, that's kind of wild. Again, just initial reaction, I can't really see why it would get the grade it gets. Um, Now, granted, for what I would say for regular customers, right, you can always resubmit. There is a section in the submission forms where you want to send cards to be resubmitted, whether the label is printed wrong or upside down, or there's something wrong with the card and you want to get reevaluated. That is an option. I've never done it, but I do have a stack of cards that I would love to get regraded because I thought the grades were either way off or I thought, possibly could squeak a better grade. So I'm definitely have to look at this one. Again, still an awesome card. I'm personally not going to complain about an 8, especially because it's for the personal collection. Um, but yeah, breaks the streak a little bit, but it's all good. We have one last card to go off, at least for this submission here, and then we're going to show all the other cards. But thank you, May. I appreciate it. Yeah, it looks absolutely insane. All right, last card. I know what Pokemon this is. It's the one that I have a whole bunch of off to the side. It's obviously one of my favorite Pokemon. Definitely in my top 3 for sure. Especially, for those of you that have stuck around for a while, you should have a pretty good guess. But here we go. Last card in the submission, submission number 56. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. Oh, and we end off with a 9 on this one. All right. Again, I'm not going to complain about a 9. It's still a very high grade. I'm just curious why. Um, and again, just initial look, right? Centering looks really, really good. I don't see any issues initially. Um, but again, like especially when you get out of tens, it's usually whitening, centering issues. Maybe there's like corner dings or scratches. Um, Even sometimes you'll have what we call like hidden dents or dings, where like if you're just looking at the card heads on like this, you may not see it. But if you angle it a little bit and move it different ways, right, there may be a little bit of dip in the card stock or some kind of dent that you normally wouldn't see. Um, Man, but it's all right. I got more of these to grade, so I'm gonna have to try my luck again. But again, I'm not gonna complain about that. Like 8 out of the 10 cards were tens, right? And then over half of the submission were pristine. So yeah, but that's the whole collection as of right now for the mega action cards. Hopefully they do some more. Um, but I may even try and look at picking up some either even I'll take tens, or if I can find the pristines in good prices, maybe I'll get those. But I have at least 2 or 3 more sets of these. I'll probably grade, throughout the time. There's no real rush to grade them now. What do you guys think of the submission? What's your favorite card? Started off super strong, not the strongest ending, but again, I can't complain. I'm happy to have them. Um, I'm always looking forward to the next submission. But let me put these back. I will sleeve these up a little bit later. But let's get to the next part. I don't want to take too much time. Um, oh yeah, absolutely. I love the comic book style artwork. Um, but yeah, these are absolutely insane cards for sure. And then the other thing I'll just make a quick note of, right, in terms of like getting graded cards back and that whole submission process. And again, it's tooting our own horn here, but I think this is the most secure way, right? If you see a lot of like Beckett and PSA submissions that you get back, it's not like this. They all have their own individual slot. They're spaced enough where, like, yes, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but even with this little bit of padding here, it secures it so it doesn't move. Like the box design is amazing. So shout out to the R&D process and however they set this up. This works. So very, very nice. Okay, now on to the next. So I'm not gonna be able to fit the whole box on screen. Oh goodness. So I'm just gonna show this again. This is all the pop ones. Um, just to show you real quick. Um, yeah, there's a lot. Now, the cool thing about this, right, especially with my collection, I know you guys can kind of see it. So this is broken up between Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Final Fantasy, which is kind of insane. So I did the total count. There are 45, yes, 45 pop ones in my personal collection. Again, took me a better part of 6 hours, probably even closer to 7 hours yesterday, and a little bit this morning to go through every single graded card that I have to see how many of these existed. And again, it's one of those things where, like, for this point in time, right? So, what, April 5th, 2026, at this point in time, these are all pop ones. Now, as I'm doing this stream or as it goes live and it's uploaded, this could change, right? Like any of these cards, someone else can grade it and get that exact same grade. But I'm just doing this as like a snapshot, even for myself, right? If I look at this 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, um, all these cards at this point in time are all pop ones. So, I'm going to try and move this off screen best I can. Um, but yeah, we're going to take a look at this, talk about them a little bit. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on it just because I'm kind of limited on time. I know we got, it's Easter and families coming, and we're going to be doing Easter things. So, all right. How am I going to do this? This really doesn't fit. I'm going to have to move it up just a little bit. You're going to see a little bit of the box on screen. It's okay. I think you guys will be all right. Oh, that doesn't take up too much room. Okay. All right. So here we go. Starting off super strong. And this is one of my favorites. And so something else I did, right, as you can see, I have the sleeves on it, right? So it's not on the actual slab, but I put these on here just for my own tracking purposes. Yes, you could scan the QR code and it brings you right to the website and you can see it's a pop one, but this is just for me. So on all these, you'll see 2 different stickers here. You'll see one that says pop one with a nice little exclamation point. The other sticker you can see underneath this will say top pop, like TOP POP. That means it's the top graded card for CGC, right? For that card specifically. So this card here, which I can tell you right now, this isn't the highest grade by any means, but it's the only one in this grade that CGC has, right? So just try to set up how this is all going to go and you guys can better understand what I'm showing you. And again, if you have questions, obviously feel free to ask. But starting off super strong. This is something that's been sitting on my desk since I got it back. It's one of my favorite cards to look at. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection, to be honest. And for it to be a pop one, it makes it even more special. But check this out. Look at this beauty right here. Japanese Shining Raichu in that CGC 5. Now, again, not the highest grade by any means. Um, but there's really not a lot of these graded, to be honest. But I think it's so cool, and you're going to see a lot of this, right? And again, I'm just prepping you ahead of time, right? Not necessarily a spoiler, but just trying to be realistic and set good expectations. Um, you're going to see some that are the highest grades for sure. Um, oh yeah, for sure, a lot of pristines. Yeah, that submission was insane. Um, but it's stuff like this where, like, in CGC's database, there's only one 5, and that's the one that you're looking at right now. So, all right, on to the next. Just want to kind of preface and show you guys. All right, next again, another pop one. I'm not going to keep showing it. You guys get the gist of it. Look at this one. So again, all right, you're like, all right, cool, non-hollow, fossil Raichu. But take another second and look why this is even more special. Yes, it's a 5/5. Again, not the highest grade, but this is a French version of this card. How I stumbled upon this and got a French version, don't ask me. But I was like, hey, I'll submit this. Let's see. And this is the only one in that grade. So thought it was absolutely hilarious that, again, just another cool pop one for the collection. All right, next. And then right behind that is the Italian version. A little bit higher grade. Again, same card, right? Same time frame, but French and Italian. The Italian graded much better and is the only one in that CGC 9. So kind of cool. And again, there's Pokemon in here. I even have some Yu-Gi-Oh and Final Fantasy and some Magic the Gathering. This one here, this one's really nice. Got some tops in here as well. You got the silver foil Raichu here, 6.5. So the only one in CGC's database that got that 6.5. But again, this just shows like the variety of stuff you're going to see here. Very beautiful card. Again, the grade is regard like I'm not. Hold on, brain shutting off. I'm not overly concerned about the grade, right? I just want these cards encapsulated and protected, right? All right, so next, this card, absolutely beautiful. Now you're like, man, why did it get a 2? Like, it looks beautiful, right? Everything except for right here. There is a legitimate tear in this card. Um, I remember buying this from a card show years ago, and I was talking to the vendor, and I saw the card right away, and you kind of see the damage amplified a little bit more right there. Um, but again, absolutely beautiful card, and he was like, it's a shame because if this didn't have that tear, especially with everything else going on, this would be a very high grade. And I was like, hey, let me buy it. I was like, I'm just gonna, it's gonna go in the personal collection. It's just gonna be for me. Um, and actually looking at this now, this is actually mislabeled, which is hilarious. I may get this fixed. Um, this is not the reverse hollow version of this card. This is the hollow version. The reverse hollow would have all the hollow foil on like where the text is, and there wouldn't be hollow here. What's going on, Sai? How we doing? Just showing off all the pop ones. Welcome back, welcome back. But yeah, so I may get this redone. Again, it's not that big of an issue because they're not going to regrade it. They pretty much just take it out of the encapsulation, correct the label, drop a new label in there. But yeah, the reason why this got a 2 is because of this partial tear on the side. That is one of the lowest graded cards that I have, by the way. And here's the next one, CGC 3. Now this is a proper reverse hollow, especially back in the EX era. The reverse hollows had the set stamp on them. So even though there's hollow foil in the middle, But yeah, another pop one. Good old Raichu from EX Power Keepers. All right, next, here's another one. This is a 4. Another awesome Raichu. Reverse Hollow from Undaunted. Um, yeah. Again, I can tell why this would get graded the way that it did, right? It's not in the best of shape by any means, but it's the only one in their database currently that has that 4, which is kind of neat. It's also in a different language, um, which hmm, makes that a little bit more interesting, right? So I may have to get that fixed as well. And you know what's funny? When I submitted this, I didn't even catch that. Just looking at this right now, this point in time, I graded this card forever ago. I'm just catching this now. So, and this is also why I like going through my collection all the time, right? It's just not only do I like to look at this, right? Because most of the time it just sits in these cardboard boxes. Um, but you get to see things that you didn't see before, like how this is in a completely different language. Um, yeah, I may have to get this one corrected. It will still keep the pop one, obviously. Um, but yeah, that's absolutely sick. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna have to take some notes. Someone put some notes, especially if you're watching us after the stream. Just put in the comments of all the cards I want to revisit. All right, this one's super awesome. A lot more modern than some of the other stuff you've seen. This is from Sword and Shield base set, Reverse Hollow Raichu in the Gem Mint 10. The only one in Gem Mint 10, which is kind of crazy. Now, granted, there's pristines out there, right? But this is the only Gem Mint 10. And again, I'm a huge Raichu fan. I'm trying to collect as many different Raichus and Blastoise and Dragonite cards as possible. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. See, I have this lovely playmat that I have, which obviously I'm a big fan of. I'm trying to get a custom one, same exact style, but I want it to be. I'll probably do Blastoise, Raichu, and Dragonite, or maybe keep the same order, right? Do Blastoise, Raichu, Dragonite. But I'm trying to get a custom one done. So stay tuned if I can actually get that to happen. Not only, I mean, I like Charizard and Venusaur, right? But like to have my top 3 on this playmat, I think that would be sick. Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack. Reverse Hollow, Gem Mint 10, again, the only one currently. And this may even spark some of you if you have some of these cards in your collection, be like, well, I want to make sure there's not another one now. All right, Silver Tempest, Reverse Hollow Raichu. I love like the dark Raichu vibes. 9.5. This is the only one in CGC's database. Very, very cool looking card. Um, Everything looks right here, right? It's in English. It's a reverse hollow. On to the next. Ooh, this is a good one. So, technically, the very first rainbow rare, if you want to say that right, it is a rare. There's a rainbow in it. But Dragonite from Fossil. This one's super unique. Again, pop 1, gem mint or near mint 7, but this is Italian. Again, how I came across this, I don't remember, but I had this for a while, and I was like, all right, I finally need to grade it. I did this one of my bigger Dragonite submissions, but very, very cool looking card. And again, all this stuff is for personal collection. I'll probably never part ways with 99% of this stuff. All right. Another awesome card, Dark Dragonite, 2004. So there was a Glory to Team Rocket set, right? Or I'm sorry, Team Rocket Returns set in English and Japanese. But then they did like little like boost or theme decks or starter decks. This is what this came from. So again, another pop 1, the only one in a 5/5. Absolutely beautiful artwork. I love Dark Dragonite. Next, this one's super exciting. So not only is the artwork insane, yeah, I completely agree, Wabbit. So Dragonite EX, again, huge fan of Dragonite. He's kind of just burst into the card here from Japanese Raging Fists. This is even more special because this is the top grade for this card. And you're thinking, oh, it's only a 7/5. I mean, it's not the highest grade, obviously. There's 8s, 9s, 10s. But in CGC's database, out of all the ones that have been graded, this is the top grade in a 7/5. So I'm very, very tempted to buy more of these and see if I can, maybe crack an 8 or a 9, maybe get a 10, and just keep holding that crown of like the top grade. Um, But yeah, very, very cool. Again, another unique card there. Ooh, talking about unique cards, and I'm gonna do both of these back to back because this is special. So, Sid's Blastoise from the VS series or the Versus series. They never did an English variant to this. I remember when I graded this, I graded this one first. You can tell by the serial numbers here. This one's much older than this one. Um, but I graded this and I was like, oh man, that's a terrible grade. It's super low. Let me get another one and try my luck. Well, I mean, it did better, but it's not great. But they're both pop ones, which is hilarious. I want to get more of these, right? Super unique artwork. They only ever did these in Japanese. But it'd be neat to try and get a higher grade. But yeah, very, very awesome card. Super excited to have two of them, especially both them being pop ones. All right, on to the next. Oh, another absolute beauty. This one's really, really cool. So this is Delta Species. For those of you that aren't familiar with this was a run in like the mid 2000s where they would do a bunch of Pokemon with different element types. So this is a fighting Blastoise, which I'm pretty sure Blastoise could fight either way. But first edition Holo. This is kind of like the Shining Pokemon where the Holo is only on the Pokemon itself. But in the three, it's the only one. I want to get a couple more of these, right? Because it's definitely one of my favorite designs. I love the Delta Species cards. I thought it was so neat. Um, I think the terrible, horrible spin-off variant of that is all like the Terra or the terrestrial cards they did recently. Because technically it's the same thing, right? Like they gave Pokemon different types, but not like this. This is so much better, in my opinion, of course. Um, but yeah, absolutely beautiful. Again, only one in that three. Um, but again, it's protected. It's going to stay encapsulated for the rest of time. On to the next. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Looks a little bit different, right? A little bit of a mini card here. This came from Bandai Kids Cards in 2018. Um, so there is a older version of this card, right? I think the original design from this card was like 1996, 1997. But obviously, as it says on the label, it's a reprint series. Um, but yeah, again, Bandai did these. Very, very cool little mini cards here, but this is the only one in that grade. Um, very, very neat looking card. Again, obviously you can tell it's a lot smaller. You can also tell how these smaller cards are encapsulated, right? So you see there's extra lines in here added, so the card's seated, but it's also in a sleeve itself. And then they press down and encapsulate it that way. But very, very cool. All right. On to the next. Ooh, this one's fun. So good old Blastoise from one of the tag team sets. This one's a little more unique because this is the Korean version of this. Same style artwork, that doesn't change, right? But it's just Korean. The other cool thing about Korean and Chinese Pokemon cards is they have the English backs on them. The only official Pokemon TCG that has a different back on it are the Japanese cards. Even if you look at like the vintage, right? So like this was the original design for Japanese backs. And then, do I have a more modern one? Let me see. Just to kind of use for an example here. I don't want to take up too much time, but I feel like I just showed one. Oh, yeah. So this was the updated back for Japanese. But the Japanese side of the house said, hey, we're always going to have our own individual backs. If it's not Japanese, everyone else is using this, which again, it's pretty cool, but like just to see the iteration. But base set English Pokemon all the way to 2026 has always used this backing, which is kind of neat to look at that way. But it's a little bit of fun facts for you. But Korean Blastoise 7.5, again, the only one in CGC's database at that grade, obviously. All right, so this one, talking about Korean cards. Absolutely beautiful Blastoise SAR from 151. Now, not only is this an awesome artwork, they got a 6. Pop one, obviously. But I remember grading this or getting it submitted to get graded, and I was surprised that this got a 6. I still, even to today, I can't find anything that would put it in this category. So this might be another one I resubmit. when you get to this territory again, this is where like potential creases, huge scratches, dings, dents comes in. I didn't see any of that, so maybe I'll regrade this. Maybe I'll just keep it because it's a pop one. I have like 5 or 6 other of these in English and Japanese, so there's no real rush for me to regrade it, but something I might entertain at some point in time. All right, so why did I do that? That was weird. Oh, hold on, I skipped one. So this one, going back a little bit again, we got old vintage Japanese here. A little bit of a curveball, something that seems odd, especially for what I showed off so far. But good old Slow King. Um, got the 5/5 on this one here. This is from 2005. I'm a fan of Slow King, right? I like Slow Poke and Slow Bro, but I like Slow King. I like the design. I like the whole crown. Um, but yeah, another absolutely beautiful card. Got the 5/5 in that one. Is the only one in that grade. All right, so a little bit of a change of pace here. Going a little bit different here. We have some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and you're like, wait, why is that one blue? I'll explain in a second. But we do have some Yu-Gi-Oh cards in my personal collection that are pop ones, starting with this absolute beauty. Now, this is special. uh, as I kind of reveal what the last one was. This is super special to me because this is from my personal collection. I had this card when I was a kid. Um, in terms of like TCGs, I played way more Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon. I was very heavy in collecting Pokemon always, but I played Yu-Gi-Oh a lot. This Summon Skull was in my deck for the longest time. If you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, it was a very powerful card and very easy to get out on the field. Um, but again, 2002 Metal Raider set, got the 4. It's the only one in a 4. Um, Super awesome card, ultra rare. Yeah, it was when I was grading Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I was like, this has to be a part of that. Same thing with this next card. Good old Buster Blader, 2003. Um, Super rare, 5/5, the only one in CGC's database. It was another card that I used a lot, especially as like dragon decks. This card was super strong. But yeah, very, very nice in that 5/5. And last but definitely not least for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is this very, very cool Obelisk the Tormentor from 2015, which is crazy to think this is 11 years old now. Um, but the reason why they did the different backings on this, right? Because there are variants of the Obelisk, the Tormentor, where they're tournament legal, if you will. This one isn't. And it even says on the bottom, right? This card cannot be used in a duel. More so, what's going on, Red Fever? How we doing? Um, but yeah, they did the different backings on this to showcase that, like, hey, it's not your standard Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? This the standard format. But they did this also with Slifer the Sky Dragon and the Winged Dragon of Ra. Um, but pretty neat. It was kind of cool to see some of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had actually had pop one, especially these. Again, these are cards I had from when I was a kid, and just really, really neat to see that they're the only ones graded like that. All right, what do we got next? This whole side. So let me show this real quick. This whole side here, super special because this is all of these cards here are Final Fantasy. Not specifically from the Final Fantasy TCG, but they're all Final Fantasy related, and you're going to see what I mean here in just a second. Starting off strong, kind of see the back, and yes, this is the back of the card. Absolutely beautiful. Cloud Strife in his Kingdom Hearts attire, which makes this even cooler. This is from the 2023 Art Museum Volume 2 set. The only one in that Gem Mint 10. Absolutely beautiful. These cards are definitely hard to grade, especially like sports cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! Um, which, quick note, if you didn't realize this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the only trading card that has pointed corners like sports and like non-sports cards. I don't understand why they decided to do pointed corners on a trading card game where you're going to be trading and playing cards. But yeah, but yeah, a lot of the issues you have with these are these corners, right? They can get dinged very, very easily. But yeah, super nice to see this one. It's one of my favorite artworks. Um, all right, on to the next. Speaking about that, so here it is again. So the main difference here, obviously, it's a pristine, but this is from the Final Fantasy Art Museum. This is from the Kingdom Hearts Art Museum. Two different sets, right? Obviously, you see this is 2025. Slightly different design on the back. I think the Kingdom Hearts one did it so much better. Um, but yeah, another aspect of card collecting that is slept on is anything Kingdom Hearts related. But I just love this artwork here, especially Cloud in Kingdom Hearts and any of the Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts have huge impact. Um, but yeah, to have that card in a pop one is awesome, especially because, and I'm going to pull this back out again because his counterpart is also a pop one. Both of these are pristines. You see the serial numbers; they're back to back. The only ones uh, that hold that crown, which is awesome, getting them back to back. You guys know how much I like Kingdom Hearts. You guys know how much I like Final Fantasy. Big fan of Cloud and Sephiroth. So nice to see those for sure. As I'm quickly losing my voice, probably gonna have to take a drink here in just a second. Next, another absolutely beautiful card. I'll let you look at that while I take a sip real quick. Yeah, big fan of CGC myself. If you couldn't tell. Now, Red, have you graded stuff with CGC before, or are you just like a fan of the company? All right, Cloud again, but this is from the actual Final Fantasy TCG, which a lot of people don't even know that's a thing. This is from the sixth set, right? Opus 6. No, Opus 8, sorry. Final Fantasy TCG. Really like all the Final Fantasy TCG cards, right? You get a little bit of like that textured backing on them. It's like a matte finish. Um, but yeah, super awesome pop one there. Oh, another absolutely beautiful card. So I'm going to take out the next couple because all of these kind of go together. And it's not like I'm trying to rush or anything, but I just want to showcase how awesome these are. Is there more? Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Put these here. Okay. So all of these are from the Final Fantasy Art Museum Volume 2 set. And all of these artworks are from the Advent Children movie. Um, which again, one of the I still think it's one of the best CGI movies that they've ever made. Obviously, it's Square Enix, and they're really, really good at CGI. Um, but yeah, I have the whole set. Right, obviously, there's more of these, but yeah, absolutely beautiful artwork, and all of these, every single one of them, they're pop ones, right? So like even this red 13, it's the top pop, right? It's the highest grade. With that, same thing with Barrett. It's the top pop there. Just regular pop one for Yuffie. Sid is a pop as the top pop there, and I think Zach, yeah, Zach is as well. So again, absolutely beautiful collection. And again, I know these are a little more obscure, so you're probably like, there's gonna be someone that read or watches this or puts a comment. Oh, well, yeah, obviously they're gonna be pop one. No one really grades them. That's their fault. I love these cards. They look absolutely amazing. If you're sleeping on anything Final Fantasy, that's on you. But yeah, absolutely amazing. And again, I'm not doing this just for the sake of time. I just wanted to show these all together. There's a whole set, and just unfortunately, the other ones are like pop twos, pop threes, so it doesn't really fit with the theme of what I was going for. But absolutely amazing. Obviously, I love Final Fantasy. The real fun is once I'm done with this stream, and it probably won't happen until later on today, is putting all these cards back in their proper containers. Because yes, like all these, even these like smaller boxes like this, right? Like I have a bunch of them that I'll go back and label after the fact, and I store them, and I have a system in place. So now I'm gonna have to reverse engineer that system and put all these back. All right, keeping up with the Final Fantasy theme, another absolutely beautiful pop one. Get Barrett Wallace again. Just looks absolutely insane. I love this original artwork. Um, yeah, good old Tetsuya Nomura is the character designer for a lot of Final Fantasy characters, and he is the godfather of Kingdom Hearts. Which shout out to you, but hey, dude, we got to get Kingdom Hearts 4 out. Like, I don't want to wait another 2 or 3 years. Um, but yeah, super awesome card here. Another iconic Final Fantasy character, and it's just nice to see it with that pristine on top. All right, Red 13 again. This is from the first Art Museum set. This is another top pop. So this is not only the only one at that grade, but this is the highest grade that CGC has graded so far. I think there's only like 5 others, right? So it's not like a huge database. Um, but it's neat to know that even at a 9, it's the top grade. All right. Next, Sid again. This one is from the first art museum set. Same thing again, another top pop. Just love these cards. I love the little like the character sheet on the back. It even has date of birth and blood type in there, which is hilarious. Um, yeah, really, really neat looking card. Again, just iconic Final Fantasy artwork. How could you not like it? Speaking about iconic, right? We got Kate Sith again, Final Fantasy VII. Age unknown, date of birth unknown, blood type unknown. Well, yeah, I mean it's kind of tough, right? Especially with it's a cat sitting on this giant creature. Yeah, I bet it's hard to kind of get info from it, but another top pop for this one. Might have to take some pictures for Instagram and get these up so everyone can see. This one's really neat. I know it looks like it's hand drawn, which it was at some point in time. This from 1997. Pop one. This from Card Masters when Bandai. So at the time, Bandai was doing Pokemon cards before the TCG started, and they did Final Fantasy as well. Um, but yeah, absolutely insane card. So Tetsuya Nomura hand drew all of these characters, right? This is the whole cast from Final Fantasy VII, and I'm pretty sure we concluded that this character here is Tetsuya Nomura. I think he drew himself into the cast because that's the only character we couldn't identify. But then they made a few of these cards to actually go with this the Masters set. Um, but yeah, very very cool. Again, nice to have this as a pop one. Very very unique card for sure. All right, back to the TCG. Good old Sephiroth in his Kingdom Hearts attire. Another absolutely beautiful, pristine 10. There's something about like the black and gold combo just fits so well. All right. Next, another beautiful, pristine. Again, this is from the first Art Museum set. Good old Cloud in his Advent Children attire. It's got a little bit of like a card list on the back. Just so much information detail, which I really, really like on this. The artwork is simple. Dare I say simple and clean. Um, if you know, you know. But yeah, I just like the overall design of these cards, and I remember grading that during that initial submission and seeing, getting a pristine on that was amazing. Here's his counterpart, right? So getting the pair together. There was a bunch when I did the Cloud vs Sephiroth series where sometimes Cloud had a higher grade, sometimes Sephiroth did, but it was fun. I have so many other Cloud and Sephiroth cards I need to do that with again. But we got the top pop on this one. Very, very neat. All right, last couple cards here. We're winding this down. I'm going to do the shameless plug here. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, I truly appreciate all the support. And it's been a wild journey so far. And again, I truly appreciate it. But yeah, bring your friends over, right? We're on the grind to 1K now. And yeah, hopefully we get there sooner than later and do another huge milestone event at that point. All right, last four. I want to take all these out because again, they're all Final Fantasy, but obviously they're varying, right? We have the English TCG in these two, the Japanese TCG, which was labeled chapters at the point in time before the Opus name took over for English, and then we have a Magic the Gathering card, which I was super excited to see that. Um, Wait, hold on. Am I missing? No, that's everything. Okay. Yeah, I did go through everything. Okay. Just making sure. But yeah, I don't have too many graded um, Magic the Gathering cards. So that was kind of neat to have that. Um, um, Ooh, how many pristines do I have? Dude, that is a really good question. Um, Sorry, I'm just getting caught up with chat. Um, Lieutenant Surge, okay. Lieutenant Surge is Sparrow. That's pretty sick. Um, how many pristines? Oh my goodness. put that in the comments, right? Like once this video is uploaded, please go back and comment that. I know I've shown them off before. I think there's a small clip on Instagram that has it, but it's not current. Um, yeah, maybe we'll do that for another stream, right? I'll break out all the pristines, and we'll see how that goes. I have a lot. Not to brag. It's a little bit of a humble brag, but yeah, I've got a lot of pristines. Um, but yeah. All right. So let's flip these over. Let's take a look. So this one's super awesome, and that's where my brain kind of broke for a second. So this card and this last Magic card are extra special to me, and I'll explain why. This one's super neat. Again, Final Fantasy TCG. This is a promo card, but it's from Final Fantasy 14. This is the whole cast of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 since August of 2010. Just to let that sink in a bit. I played the early beta tests. I've been playing the game since original launch, when they shut the game down, when they re-released it. It's my most played game of all time, and yes, it's an MMO. Um, but yeah, once I got this card, I was like, all right, I got to get this graded. I know it's a 9. I have 2 more of these. I do plan on grading. If we can at least get a gem in one of them, I will be super happy. I just love this card, and there's a lot of meaning behind it. And every time I look at it, it just makes me think of like all the times I've had playing Final Fantasy 14. Um, so yeah, this is one I had to get graded for sure. All right, next. This one's super cool. This was actually given to me by Mewtwo Dude. Shout out to Mewtwo Dude. The great and hilarious. Yeah. What's up? You want to? Yeah. Just a couple more minutes. I'm almost done. All right. Come see me when we're done. Okay. Um, so this one's cool because this is the Japanese Final Fantasy TCG. Again, this was labeled chapters. The English side was doing Opus. But yeah, he gave this to me raw, and ended up getting graded. So it's cool to see that. Like, and again, like there's memories behind a lot of these cards, right? So it's the top card graded, right? The only 1 in a 10. Hopefully, this will hold the crown for a very long time. But again, shout out to you, Mewtwo Dude. Thank you. Truly appreciate you. All right, next. Another absolutely beautiful Sephiroth, the full art version of this. Um, this was a reprint, right, when they did the Legacy Collection set. But yeah, very, very neat for sure. It's kind of mislabeled, right? Because it's technically not a promotional card. This is a part of the Legacy Collection set. Yes, they are reprints, so it's kind of right. But all right, last but definitely not least, and it ties back into this first card here. Again, Magic the Gathering, which I only got into because of the Final Fantasy set. Um, but this one's awesome for sure. So this is a Realm Reborn, and yeah. So again, Magic the Gathering did the collab with Final Fantasy, and they did a bunch of these cards, right? You got a little bit of like the Chocobo stamp on there. But yeah, this is cool because again, like Final Fantasy 14 got shut down like a year and a half into its life cycle. There's a lot of complaints, which I get. I was still absolutely in love with the game and I enjoyed it. I literally played it every day from when it started. And then, I was there the final day when they shut the game down. But for when they relaunched it as a Realm Reborn, right? Updated graphics, updated systems, updated everything. I was invited again to play the beta test for the re-release. Um, so yeah, this card's absolutely amazing. I like both of these for sure. And yeah, just seeing a Realm Reborn again, that was 2012 when they did the relaunch. It's been 14 years since. It's kind of crazy. And it's been a lot of fun. But that or currently these are all of my pop ones that I have from all of my graded cards. Hopefully I'll get some more throughout the future. Hopefully no one beats me out on these and they become pop 2s or any higher. But that's going to do it for today's stream. I know Red, you wanted to see some more stuff. I'm going to have to save it for the next stream. Definitely come by and check me out. We do streams on Friday evenings and Sunday afternoons. Friday evenings usually like that 7 p.m. time frame for Final Fantasy stuff. And then Sundays are the Pokemon streams. usually around noon to 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Um, but let me do a quick shout out to everybody here. What do you want? Like, what do you look for specifically? Like, you said Pokemon stuff, right? So here, I'll show off a couple, right? So what's neat about these? Both of these are Japanese Dragonite EX, both first editions. Um, I have the only two in Gem Mint 10. So obviously it's a pop 2. I have both of them. I had one raw and got it graded, which is this one here. Got it raw, got it graded, got the Gem Mint. I looked up and saw that there was a second one, and literally just by pure dumb luck, I was just on eBay one day and I saw this card, and I'm like, well, I have to have it. So I have both of the pop for Gem Mint. I'll show you one of my Grail cards, and we'll wrap from here. So this one here, it's a pop 7, vintage Japanese. This one was awesome because again, I bought this card raw. It's very, very expensive. Probably one of the at the time, it was the single most expensive card purchase I ever had. Um, Sat on it for a long time. Finally got it graded. Base set Japanese Blastoise. Now, it's even more special because this is the no rarity version. So, in comparison to English, this would be like first edition Shadowless in terms of like rarity and value. Um, so yeah, this is definitely one of my grails. Something that when I got back into collecting and I realized that these cards existed, I was like, hey, I have to have this. And I didn't just want to buy one graded, right? I wanted to get it raw, get it graded myself. So yeah, this sits on my desk. I get to look at it every single day. Um, but yeah, so with that being said, let me give out some quick shout outs. Like to do this at the end of the stream, kind of give back to everyone that came by and checked out the stream. So starting with you, Red Fever, thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Hopefully we see you in some more streams. Bad Wabbit, of course, like always, nice to see you. One of the regulars for sure. Same thing with Cy, Beers and Bacon. May, thanks for coming by. Hilario, again, another one of the regulars. Um, who else came through? I know Nugget showed up for a little bit, so appreciate you. Thanks for coming by. And then Jay. So again, shout out to everyone that came through. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of the weekend. For those that celebrate Easter, happy Easter. Hopefully you get to hang out with family, enjoy that time there. But with that being said, we're going to wrap the stream up here. A little bit more than an hour, but I think it was fun. Let me know what you think, whether you're watching this live, you want to drop a comment now, or you're watching it after the fact, leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite card shown off today was, whether it was from the 56 submission with all the mega action cards, which again was absolutely insane, or any of the 45 pop ones that I currently have. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm WakoBako. Take it easy.